Hello guys, Hikiyami Moriko desu, and welcome to another indie game. This one's called Of Frost and Flowers. So let's start the game. Sorry about my voice, I'm feeling a little sick today, so it might not be at my best, but anyway, let's start the game. Hey, did you hear about the execution tomorrow? Sorry about that. Yes, one of Satania's own knights. They keep the whole thing hush-hush. I heard rumors that it's something to do with Chrismalia Pro. Shh, we're outside. Oh, right. But poor girl, I heard she's the first to recruit knight too. What could she have done to deserve this? The death sentence speaks for itself. Whatever she did, it put the whole kingdom at risk. It's just a shame that she has to die so young. I'm sorry, I had like hiccups. Don't worry about it, dear. She must have deserved the punishment. Our kingdom knows what's best for us. I guess. The execution. Could they be talking about that girl? Yes, I know. I've been involved enough. But that girl, oh dear. The man sighed, rubbing his temples. I just helped her escape from a dangerous situation and now she's getting herself into another mess. His magenta eyes dated on the city hall, which was going to be an execution scene within a few hours. Should I just detach myself? Like what I always done? But The man gazed at his bony hands, looking at how he has missed a familiar feeling associated with them whenever he clasped his hands. Perhaps there's still something I can do. He turned away, resolving in his eyes, and disappeared within the alley shadows. Behind the steel bars of Satania's dark and cold prison, a young woman with charred clothes and bruised skin was pacing to and fro within her cell, angry footsteps echoing through the prison. Alto. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I saw what I saw. A war is brewing. If they couldn't use me, they will use someone else. I need to find a way out of here and tell the world about their plans. But they are going to execute me instead. What for? For telling the truth? Welcome to real life. I don't have much time. I need to find a way. I can die here. The woman grabbed the steel bars and in a fit of rage tried to pry them open with her bare hands. Ah! But of course, no matter how much strength she used, the steel bars did not budge. Her shouts, however, were enough to alert the guards and attract them to her cell. Guard 1. It's that crazy woman again. Guard 2. Just ignore her. She's gone mad. Besides, it's not like she's a magic user. She won't be able to bend those bars even if she uses her life's worth of willpower. They let out a set of jeering laughs. I don't know what she told the commander, but it must have been something extremely blasphemous for her to end up with a capital punishment. What's her name again? Oh, that's three guards, right? She's that crazy ex-knight from the scouting division, right? Yeah, Althea Revendier. At the mention of her name, a young man stopped in his tracks on his way to the prison's exit. Althea? The stranger briefly glanced at the cell the young woman was in. He spotted a familiar face on the other, one that he could never forget. I don't know what's happening to me today. But just as he thought to approach her, a guard called him out. Hey you! Your visiting time is over. The exit's this way. Right, excuse me. As the man left, Alto noticed a small feather dangling on his right ear. That feather. Could it be? No, that's impossible. He will never be here. Alto sighed, letting her back slump against the stone wall. You know that you're Ruffy when you start hallucinating. But who wouldn't if today was the last day of you hiding Gaia? I haven't even found her yet. There's a bunch of mystery in this visual novel. And Satania Kingdom City Hall was surrounded by armor-clad knights that great morning, and all preparations for the young woman's execution had been ready since dawn. Alto had been kneeling on the ground since then too, and all the pain she immediately felt has been numbed by piercing cold. Despite the heavy storm, that's horrible, right? Despite the heavy storm, citizens had flocked around the city hall, ready to capture the monumental moment of the knights killing one of their own. That's not nice. What a beautiful girl. She's so young. That traitor deserves it. Alto could hear each and every one of them talking, all their gossip, their curses, their sympathies. But now that the rain had drowned their voices, the only thing she could thank the rain for. After the crowd had settled, the Knight's commander, a man who Alto once put her faith in, stepped up on the podium to signal her death. The commander. The execution of Althea Revendier shall now commence. The executioner views himself by polishing his axe, ensuring he will end this girl's life in a single slash. That's nice because sometimes in real life the axe is not properly like sharpened, and you need multiple hits to be hit someone, and that's gonna be really painful, right? So a single hit would be nice. Alta closed her eyes. I guess this is the end, huh? If I knew this was how it would turn out, maybe I should have just stayed back home and became a regular craft woman. But I couldn't have possibly left you alone. I don't get it. What did I do wrong? I did what I could for the knights, for you, and this is how I'm rewarded? Gods, if you're really governing Gaia, as we're in the midst, then why are you letting this happen to me? The commander glared at her own with frigid, relentless eyes. Any last words, traitor? It's hard to believe that those words came from the same mouth that gave her the words of encouragement when she was but a squire. The girl's cracked lips parted, but she wasn't able to form any words. All she could do was stare at the executioner's merciless eyes and hope she would at least die a quick and painless death. Yeah. A teardrop mixed with raindrops slid down her cheek. I'm sorry, Ellis. She closed her eyes, knowing she had done her best and that he would be all over soon. When all of a sudden... Intruder! Intruder! A sudden bam and a flurry of explosions blast in the city hall. Citizens gasped and screamed as debris showered them from overhead. Alta opened her eyes just in time to see a hooded figure throwing a vial against the ground. It exploded and let out plumes of grey smoke obscuring the entire city hall, along with any light source in the vicinity. Panic-stricken shouts and confused screams ensued in the city, but before Alta had a chance to react, she felt the ropes pulling her wrist loosen. A figure emerged from the mist, extending their hand towards her. Quick, let's get out of here. Alta looked up and the first feature she saw of her savior was his piercing magenta eyes, a feather dangling in his ear. So I can choose who saved me. Right? I'm gonna go with the feather guy because the other dude said he didn't want it to be involved. So, as if by instinct, Alta looked at his hand and she was pulled back to her feet. You idiot! How the hell did you get yourself into this mess? That voice, it can be. The wind blew the man's hood backwards as they ran, revealing an all too familiar face. Soul? Alta's heart skipped a beat. She thought she was dreaming, but those amber eyes, raven hair, and even the feather earring keep him by. There's no mistake about it. It's really him. But why is he here? I haven't seen him for years. Let's start more running. They are going to catch us if we don't move those legs of yours. Alta managed to nod. The appearance of her best friend suddenly gave Alta the strength she needed, and she found herself running faster despite the storm and numbness in her legs. Where did they go? I don't know. Did we lose them? Damn it, we can't let her go away. But you did. You just did. Soul finally slowed and Alta dropped to her knees. The panic and frenzy of the escape dulled her, but the pause gave her body a chance to readjust and feel again. Though the rain had stopped during the rescue, Alta's damp clothes still clung to her body. The cold breeze chilled her skin and she shivered. Hoping to catch her breath, she rubbed her arms to warm them and looked around. They were surrounded by greenery and stone. Tall trees populated the area. Were they out of the city? Around her, plants were coated with the remnants of previous rain, and the ground underneath her squished, almost sinking under her weight. Feeling her heart finally calm, she got up, ignoring the wet mud that accumulated on her clothing. Ripples of blue caught her eyes, and Salt stood on the edge of some rocks in front of her. He looked back, motioning her over. As she walked closer, she heard the sound of flowing water. Her eyes widened as she exited the forest and surprised by the sight of pool and small waterfall. Sol handed Alto his canteen. Here, drink, and take some time to collect yourself. You must be hungry, I'll catch some fish. But before he could leave, Alto tugged to her on his coat. Wait! All this time, where have you been? And what have you been doing? It's been 2 years, your parents are worried sick, and so am I. Alto. Sol tried to pull away from Alto's grip, but she would not budge. Tell me the truth, Sol. What have you been doing for the past 2 years? Did you forget about the promise we made to find El.Seth together? Alto, you know that there's no way I'll forget that promise. El.Seth meant so much to the both of us. Then why? Why did you leave? Sol gently took Alto's hand in his, unrolling her fingers until she was no longer gripping his coat. Fine, I'll tell you. He sat on the boulder beside Alto. Have you heard of the Desert Falcons? The famous hiding guild from Al-Sharan, right? That's right. 2 years ago, when I was running errands for my father in Setania, I got a man out of a sticky situation by chance. I don't know, let me make a little pause here. I don't know if this game is based on a bigger game or other game or other stuff, but they're throwing names of places, names of people, and things, but like I'm supposed to know this stuff a little bit, but because otherwise it doesn't really make sense, right? I don't know, like what is Setania, what is what, right? The game doesn't have a proper introduction of the world at the beginning, and I don't know if it's on purpose because there's a lot of mystery surrounding the people and the stuff happening in this game. So I hope it like resolves itself in the end, because otherwise this is really confusing me. That man turned out to be one of the Desert Falcons. He invited me to join them. I heard that guy's best informants work for them, and they seem to be recruiting bounty hunters. I don't finding El.Seth's location will be a breeze for them, so I decided to join. Alto let his words sink in. Sol had not forgotten about their promise. He was just doing it in his own way. So it was all for El.Seth. So she joined the Royal Knights or whatever, and he joined like some shady guild. So it was all for El.Seth. It has always been for her. Of course it was all for El.Seth. Alto thought, but she felt her heart sink in disappointment when Sol said it like that. Everything has always been for El.Seth, you say. I guess that's true. But what about me? I became a knight just to find her too. I know. I sacrificed my dreams just to find her. I know that too. I almost lost my life for her sake, you know? Alto. Did you know that having you by my side would have made that sacrifice a bit less painful? Why? How could you leave? You should have become a knight with me. Then at least I would have not suffered for myself for the past 2 years. And then both of you would have been executed? Yeah, no. Sol suddenly stood up. You think I wasn't alone either? You think I enjoyed this bounty hunting life, having to harm others for a living? He opened his mouth to speak more, but he closed it when he saw Alto's starry eyes. My dog is choking, give me a second. He sighed and sat down. We are too different, Alto. There's more than one way to achieve the same end, and I'm sure you know the difference of approaches here are. I stick to the try and true, but I long for freedom. You prefer method, but I like the madness. You became a knight, and I became a bounty hunter. You are Naruto, and I'm Sasuke. It doesn't matter what road we take. What matters is that our destination stays the same. That is to find El.Seth, isn't that right? Alto was silent for a while, and just when Sol I thought she was about to cry, the girl started to chuckle, which then led her into fits of laughter. What's so funny? I see your inner poet is still there. It's hilarious to know that your bounty hunting days have watered down the hilarious, dramatic side of you. You stick to a try and true, but I long for freedom. You prefer method, but I like the madness. Sol's face instantly boiled into a deep breath. Stop that. And what was the last part again? Alto cleared her throat in preparation to emulate Sol's speech. It doesn't matter what road we take. What matters is that our destination stays the same. Stop that. Sol tried to hide his embarrassment by covering his face with his scarf, but he was unable to hide the red tint in his cheeks. Alto, on the other hand, couldn't help but laugh. You, after all these years, you're still... I bet you still keep a poetry book full of your suppressed teenage angst. Sol's face reddened even further. I do not. Your reaction says you do. I do not. Are you sure bounty hunting is the right job for you? Perhaps being a bard will suit you better. Being a bard will not help us find Ellis. Oh, so you did consider it. What? No. Alto continued to this soul, knowing exactly what to say to deflate his ego and make him all the more embarrassed. Ha ha ha, my stomach hurts from laughing too much. It's as if we return to the good old days. I think Ellis and I are the only ones who have the pleasure to see this Israel stoic soul in his flustered state. Oh, Ellis, if only you were here. Then I wouldn't feel so guilty laughing without you. I guess. Finally, some backstory. Ellis, jeez, what are the two of you fighting again? She started. You challenged me. Yes, to a friendly spar. I didn't expect you to start hitting me with that bamboo weapon you created. Ellis raised an eyebrow. How could a bamboo stick hurt you this badly? This cheater sharpened the tip and added spikes to it. Wow, that's not good. She turned the stick into a freaking club. It's still made of bamboo, so I technically did not cheat. In fact, it just showed that you are not much for my mega bamboozler. 3.0. Equipped with cactus spikes and explosion cannons that are still a work in progress. Well, I just have a wooden sword to defend myself with. Hey, I'm not born into a family of royal knights, so I don't have proper sword training. The last you can do is give me some handicap. Besides, what kind of gentleman are you to hit a lady with no restraint like that? Okay, lady with a bamboo stick 3.0. You're not a lady, you're just some dumbass gorilla. What did you say? I said you're not a lady, you're just a dumbass gorilla. Seems like you're itching for another fight, huh? Well, it's round 2 then. Ellis bumped their heads before they could engage in another fight. Alright, stop it, you two. No more fighting for today. Then we'll settle this tomorrow, P-Rain. That's my line, you ugly monkey. Ellis sighed, rubbing her temples, but she couldn't quite hide her smile. Wait, rubbing her temples? Isn't that the same thing the other dude did? Maybe that dude it's Ellis, right? Anyone would think that she was fed up with the two constant fights that occur almost daily, but in truth she never once grew tired of their banters and instead found them amusing. Come here, you two, let me heal you. The two immediately stopped their heated exchange and turned to Ellis, sitting on the floor obediently. After all, if anyone could control these two of them, it was Ellis. Ellis' hands hovered over their wounds, warm glows emanating from her palms. The two were quiet, soaking all the impossibly comforting heat from Ellie's signature healing spell. The power was her talent, her innate gift, the pride of the entire village. Alto felt her eyelids grow heavier and heavier the longer they stayed in the vicinity of Ellie's magic. I love it when Ellis casts her spell, it makes me feel so warm inside. This feels like heaven. Alto felt something soft landing on her shoulder. Sol had apparently fallen asleep and was now leaning on her shoulder, his silky dark hair tickling her neck. Stupid Sol. I never would have shoved him away, but I'm also feeling sleepy. Alta closed her eyes and succumbed to slumber, the fatigue finally hitting her like a ton of bricks. It's nighttime already. I don't want to wake up. Let me return to the dream. And this pillow, so snug. Alto stirred a bit and proceeded to close her eyes again. Get up, Alto. You're drooling on my trousers. What? Alto's drowsiness instantly washed away upon hearing Sol's voice above her. She immediately stood up and realized she had been sleeping on Sol's lap the entire time. She also noticed a visible pool of slime on the fabric of his trousers. She woke up the drool from the corner of her mouth. So, had a nice sleep? How would you rate your cushion? A 4 out of 5? I will rate it higher if you wouldn't wake me up from my sleep. Sol looked like he was about to throw some daggers at Alto's face. You better be grateful, I haven't let you sleep on me, swine. Do you know just how long you slept for? I can barely feel my legs now. Hehe, sorry. How did I even fall asleep anyway? You suddenly decided to shove off on the Trinity brain of yours after we ate. And I don't know how it is humanly possible for someone to sleep in the middle of a conversation. Cut me some slack, I haven't slept for days, alright? Which is why I didn't wake you up, dumbass. Eh? What did you say? I said I should welcome you up before you drool on me, dumbass. Really sorry about that. I thought I hadn't drooled in my sleep since I was a kid. Sol heaved aside, but Alto thought she was the faintest of smiles for a short moment. Or perhaps it was just her imagination. Anyway, Sol, what we were talking about earlier? The execution. What exactly did you do to receive the capital punishment? Well, it's a long story. Yes, those were the exact same words you said before you dozed off. Alto opened her mouth to protest, but he instantly cut by Sol. Go on. Tell me what happened. We have all the time in the world. Alto wasn't too sure if she was being serious or sarcastic, but knowing Sol, it was probably the latter. You know about the Christmania project, right? The magic movement trending now? The organization's ultimate goal is to make magic accessible to everyone, even to non-magic users. Sounds like a bad idea. So what about it? I was tasked to deliver a parcel to the Christmalia's project headquarters in Shalia. The commander said that the parcel bore some good tidings. I thought they were finally going to reconcile with the Christmalia project's leaders. But gosh, I was an idiot. Otto looked down at her hands. Even now, her hands couldn't help but tremble whenever she recalled that incident. The parcel contained explosives. They were made to set off once it was opened. I delivered it to the searchers there. They opened it and... What happened next? Well, I suppose you can guess the rest. Sol shifted in his seat. You were used as a scapegoat. They sent you off to your death knowing that you die either by the explosives or by the project's hands. Then they used a legitimate reason to start a war on the Christmania project. Alto did not say anything. She didn't need to the desperate look in her eyes said enough, as she started into the crackling fire. I should have known better. The Satanian authorities are very antagonistic towards the project's division. Making magic accessible to everyone will only destroy the power balance that has been upheld in Satania for a very long time. I was a fool to think that the rivalry will end so quickly. I should have been more careful. Half of the project's headquarters were destroyed because of the explosives. All the research that had made Gaia a happier world disappeared in the very instant. All because of me. You know, I'm not sure making, magic available to everyone will make things better. If anything, maybe things will get worse, right? For some people. I mean, it should... Never mind, I'm just gonna keep reading the game. But you survived, how? Alto shrugged. She had told me her memory from that day was still muddled. She only remembered waking up in Shalia outskirts and witnessing the explosion's aftermath. I just got lucky, I suppose. Sol hummed, thoughtfully pondering over the situation for a while. Oh, but the other guy... The other guy said he already saved her once, right? So it was the other guy. Are you sure it was just luck? You don't have survived an explosion if you had faced it head on. Perhaps someone helped you. Someone else helped me? But who? Who knows? Anyway, it seems like Krishmadia project lies as an obstacle of both our paths. And I don't know if this is the right time to tell you this, but... So pick up a flat stone and skim it across the lake. It bounced on the water surface several times before sinking. I might have found a clue to Ellie's whereabouts. A clue to Ellie's whereabouts? How? Where would that be? And what didn't you tell me earlier? I done some digging around and I heard that the Krishmadia project housed a very skilled healer. A female healer with cold blue hair. Alice might be involved in the Krishmadia project? Alto covered her mouth but failing to hide her obvious horror. The explosion. What if I killed her? Sol shook his head. I'm sure she's alright. Alice is strong. She wouldn't die that easily. By an explosion? I don't know about that. I'm sure he's just trying to comfort her. If you say so. Alto gave it to her and Sol was right. Although Alice had always seemed like the mediator among the trio, there were times where Alto felt that Alice might just be physically stronger than them, especially with the masterful range she had on her magic capabilities. She recalled the time when a wild beast wreaked havoc on her family's farm. That was probably the first time Alto had seen her mad, and also the first time she saw a wild beast turn the roasted meat that quickly. Looking back at of Ellie's feats, Alto realized that perhaps her hidden strength was one of the reasons why she and Sol had behaved openly in her presence. She was a strong woman, indeed, but Alto knew that there were stronger magic users involved in the Krishmadia project. But that really begs the question, did she join the project of her own accord, or was she forced to do it? I highly doubt she's involved voluntarily. She must have been abducted by them and forced to work as a healer. But the Chrismalia Project, they will never. There are always darker shadows behind the brightest light. Sorry about that. As much as people realize the moment, there are many controversies regarding the Chrismalia Project. Although not slowly, she had always been supportive of the Chrismalia Project, especially for a non-magic user like her. To be able to use magic freely, it felt like a dream. Regardless, finding Ellis is top priority. We can barge into Chrismalia Project headquarters just like that. So you got any plans? Sol finished a folded paper from his bag and handed it to Alta. The Chrismalia Project is looking for someone that didn't give the specific details, but they want him back, or at least his soul. His soul? Don't mind the specifics, this guy is the key to finding Ellis. Once we capture him, we can at least get access inside the project's headquarters. Alden folded the paper. It contained a drawing of a pale, thin man with the yellow hair and pink eyes. It was just a rough sketch, but Aldo felt like she had seen him somewhere before. Is he a magic user? I don't know. But what I do know is in order to capture him, we need a special gadget, a gadget only sold in Al-Sharan Port City. Alto leapt to her feet, suddenly feeling motivation kick in. Alright, let's go there, Chop Chop. The sooner we can get this gadget and capture this man, the sooner we can find Ellis. That's more like it. Yes, come in. Piero, how many laps did the explosion take? There were 37 of us, my lord. We did not make it. More than 50 of us are heavily injured. The healer, what is she doing? The healer is working hard to treat all of them, my lord. But there's only one person can do. Damn it. Damn the cursed Satanic Kingdom, sending us an explosive as a gift. Sir, this is just a suggestion, but why can't we just go on the offensive? With your magic and the Chrismalia, we could... That is out of the question. The Chrismalia is not ready yet. We will need to harvest the power of the Blood Moon. But we don't know when the next Blood Moon will come. I can wait. Even if it takes 1,000 years, I will send this project to the very end. The hooded man placed his hands on Piero's shoulder. But now that Subject 13 has escaped, I will need to rely on you, Piero. Only you can properly wield the final product. You are the only worthy weapon I have left. Yes, my lord. Huh. This kinda reminds me of Morok from Ragnarok Online. We are here at the port city of Al-Sharan. Well, I guess it's a port, not a desert. Keep your eyes peeled, Alto. I received some intel that the man we're looking for has been sighted around here. I need to visit the place and retrieve the equipment so you can come along with me, unfortunately. A secret hideout, huh? Something like that. Don't worry about me. I'll go for a little sightseeing. Don't stray off too far, alright? And don't go picking fights with strangers. Hey, who do you think I am? You are the biggest barbarian in our village. After all, I won't be surprised if I return to see you become the culprit in murder scene. Is that really how you view me? Duh, always has been. Meanie. But seriously, be careful. You're a wanted woman, Alto. I don't want to see posters of you being put up in Al-Sharan, but you'll need to be careful. If someone recognizes you, then it's game over for us. Alto grinned, elbowing Sol playfully. I guess that makes both of us criminals, huh? We are partners in crime. Sol sighed and rolled his eyes. Yeah, whatever you say. Anyway, don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. She flexed around for a good measure, Sol didn't look convinced, but nodded anyway. I'll get going. Then let's meet up here in 2 hours. Gotcha. Now, 2 hours to kill. What should I do? Oh, finally some choices to make. Go to the market, go to the library, wait here for Sol. If I wait here, I might get recognized. I may find some useful items in the market, but I think that if I'm a wanted person, I'd rather go to a quiet place like the library. Wow, this place is packed with books. Yeah, that's a library for you. Wait, I'm saying it is a library after all. We don't have a huge library like this in my village, and I was always too busy with the night's errands to visit Satana's library. Well, might as well read up on something new that I'm already here. Which book should I read? The Exiled God of Knowledge? The Chalia tribe, the Blood Moon, the Desert Falcon. That's also. Oh, that's the. Actually, I like this. That I get to know the lore I want to know, right? I think. Well, they already explained the Desert Falcons more or less. I want to know about the Exiled God of Knowledge. The Exiled God of Knowledge, huh? I remember reading this myth as a child. I guess it doesn't hurt to read it again. The God of Knowledge was one of the gods who live eternally in the realm, above ours, in the Sky Realm. He was fond of anything and everything related to Gaia and dedicated his entire life to researching the roots of magic itself. However, as he collected knowledge upon knowledge, he began to turn away from the other gods and scheme a wicked plan against them. The gods, fearing his power and abundance of knowledge, eventually sealed his magical powers and sent him away to Gaia as punishment. It is said that even now the God of Knowledge is plotting to take revenge on their Sky Realm, staying his own revolution down here in Gaia. The Chalia tribe. They were the inhabitants of Chalia, where the Chrismada project is currently headquartered. Anyway, I suppose it's a good start to read some history about them. The Chalia tribe is characterized by their very pale skin, akin to snow, their white hair and grayish eyes. They have a high tolerance to cold and conversely a very low tolerance to heat. They are also called the Snow Ghost tribe because travelers often mistake them for ghosts due to their appearance and lack of presence. Sometimes they will appear in the snowstorms replacing passerbys. Just like how quickly snow melts, the Chalia people have a very short lifespans and are very prone to sickness. The average lifespan of a snowman is 3 years. Wow, that's not much life to live. They are considered to be the weakest tribe of Gaia, but they are hardly mentioned because of their weak presence. Many people don't even know about their existence. They are a peaceful, harmonious race, which unfortunately made them tired of slavery after their homeland was raided. Little to no survivors exist. This book says that they were tired of slavery, but does not go into further detail. Just how could people be so cruel? Good question. The Blood Moon. What is this? I never heard of this term before. The book looks so worn out, contrary to the new covers beside it. I wonder if it's been read frequently. If so, this book must be quite popular. Or it's very old, maybe. Curiosity getting the better of her, Alta pulled out her book from the shelf and began reading it through it. The Blood Moon is a very rare occurrence that happens once in 1,000 years, so it may never happen. At the night of the Blood Moon, the moon and sky turn red like blood. It is the only time where all nature's energy merges into one and collects itself in a stream of flux. Having access to the flux during the night of the Blood Moon will enable the extraction of an inexhaustible field of nature's energy for a certain period of time. In other words, an infinite supply of magic. However, predicting the Blood Moon occurrences beyond any scholar's knowledge and is still a highly researched topic. As of now, only the gods know when it will occur. It's also important to note that no experiments have been conducted as of yet, and theories in this book are based on an author's hypothesis. The Blood Moon, huh? Interesting. Alto tried to look up the name of the book's author but couldn't find any. A book without the author's name, how strange. So that's what the guy in the thing it's trying to do, right? The evil guy is trying to harvest all magic, and I suspect he's working, or he is the evil god. The Desert Falcons. It's a top-tier guild renowned for a black-handed, under-the-table, and extremely suspicious dealings. That's not a very professional way to start a book, but okay, you got me hooked. They house the best bounty hunters in Gaia who can locate and give your ex a good ass whooping, and information specialists who can find the last name of your great-great-great-grandmother's long-lost sister. This book is getting weirder and weirder with every word. It sounds as if... Didn't you got what it takes to join us? Well then, what are you waiting for? Join us today. Yep, it's an advertisement. That's all. I think that's enough reading for today. You see, this is good, like world building. Like they just don't throw the information in your face. Like, hey, this is the whole lore of my world. Read it all in one sitting, right? It makes sense for you to go to a library and you find the books, and you can read. You can only read the ones you want, right? If I want to read just only one and leave, that's my choice. It's a good way to make it. I'm gonna wait here for Sol. After some time, she spotted Sol emerge from an alley. Sol, over here. I got the gadget we need to capture the man. Why do you look so uneasy then? Well, I just didn't expect him to give me an empty vial. Look. Sol showed her the so-called gadget hereditary, but no matter which angle Alto looks from, it's just an empty vial. Is this vial supposed to help us capture target, Sal? Are you sure you weren't tricked, Sol? The gadget was made from a credible item specialist, so I highly doubt that it's a scam. But if it's a bogus, I'm sure with our strengths combined we can capture the targets and drag him to the prey exercise. We? It's been a while since I heard Sol so inclusive. He usually prefers to do things by himself. I suppose you have a point. Sol put the item away. Anyway, now that we're down here, a child who was playing with a toy and obviously not paying attention to his surroundings bumped into Sol and fell face flat on the ground. He's gonna steal the vial, right? Hey, watch what you're doing, kiddo. Where you going, kiddo? Sol reached his hand to help him stand, but the boy started crying instead. Why are you crying? Stop that. Haha, you're still bad at handling children, huh? Let me handle this. I'm a woman. Kids are more comfortable around women. Alto bent down and lifted the boy up. Shh, don't cry. Tell Big Sis what the problem is. The boy finally stopped babbling after Alto consoled him, and she put him down. My magic toy, it's broken. Alto gently took the boy's hands and examined it. Your magic toy? It looks perfectly unharmed to me. But it won't work anymore. They soon realized that a small part of the boy's toys, namely a tiny blue crystal, has been shattered. This crystal, you mean? It's just a decoration, right? They should be able to work without it. No, it's supposed to shoot off flowers, but it's not working now. A toy that shoots off flowers? That's the first time I heard of such a thing. Hold on, Alto. This toy is... It's one of the Chrismada Project's inventions. Eh? One of the Project's inventions? I didn't know they made toys. You might not have seen their projects before since they are banned in Satania, but the Chrismada Project has a signature blue crystal embedded in every invention they produce. So this broken blue crystal is the toy's power source? I guess you can say that. Is there a way to fix them? To fix it then? I'm sorry. Maybe we can fix the chart, but if we supply some magic power into the toy, it might just work. Well, you're the only magic user between the two of us, maybe we should give it a go. Hesitation was painted all over Sol's face, and Alto instantly regretted suggesting that. Alto, you have forgotten what happened in the past. I swore not to use magic ever since that happened. But that was years ago, Sol. I don't even remember what happened anymore, so I suppose whatever happened can be that bad, right? It was so terrible that your mind chose to erase it. So, what did you say? Never mind. Sol fell down in his coat. Big brother, can you fix it? Can you fix it, please? Hi. The boy's eyes well up on the verge of tears once again. Shh, don't cry. But the boy did not heed Alto's request. Instead, he broke into sobs and wailed it loudly. So loudly, in fact, that they attract lots of passerbys' attentions. Oh boy, we're causing quite a scene. If this kid cries again, people are going to think we're bullying him. Where are his parents, anyway? What should I do? I should really not try to force him to use magic, so I will try to calm down the child. Don't cry, I'm sure you can get your mom and dad to buy you a new one. But the boy did not listen and ended up crying for real, harder and nicer this time. Oh boy. Crowds start to flock around them, men and women voicing complaints and concerns. We're getting a lot of unwanted attention. Sol sighed, he sounded so done. Well, that leaves us with one last option. Alto Green wearing the same mischievous smile Sol knew so well. Run. Dun, 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 dun. Never mind. Aldo grabbed Sol's hands, or perhaps it was the way around, and ran as fast as they could on down the square, leaving the child alone with his broken toy. What? That sounds mean, but we had no choice, right? Wait, fix it! Someone catch them! Chaos ensued in the streets of Al-Sharam, but the two parents were already whistling of the city before anyone could lay their hands on them. It was always like this, even in the old times, the two rebellious children with mischievous grins, racing away from the commotions they caused hand in hand. Huh? Aldo glanced back for a moment, thinking she was just someone familiar. What's wrong? I could have sworn that there was someone. A flash of golden hair. Wait, Sol, isn't that... Sol stopped running, aligning his line onto Alto's. It's this guy. His eyes widened on the side of a tall, pale man with a slender build. The stranger's head was covered with a veil, but Sol instantly knew who it was. That's him, or target. Oh no. This is getting complicated. The man in question seemed to be on edge, glancing back and forth wildly each time Alto or Sol made a move. It was as if he could detect their presence. Both Alto and Sol were privy to the man's alertness, of course, and managed to conceal themselves before he could spot them. The skills they honed over the years of hide and seek and sneaking past their strict parents were valuable assets in this situation. He seems to be heading for the desert. That's bad. We won't have any coverage. Quick move, he's leaving. Let's stick behind the shrubs for now, he won't spot us there. Alto and Son crouched behind a row of withered shrubs, quietly following their target while keeping a close eye on him. So, where do you think he's going? I don't know, but we just have to follow him. The fact that the break is a bounty on his head might mean that he's a dangerous magic user. I'm unable to use magic and Sol hasn't never received proper training, so he may easily overpower us. We must be careful. After hours of pursuit, the two have found themselves in a forest of withered trees. The sand beneath their feet was no coarse gravel, and the trees' long limbs made it suddenly difficult to trespass. It was hard to believe that they were anywhere in the Hosheda desert anymore. What is this place? I hate to admit it, but I don't know. Sol had been part of the Desert Falcons for 2 years, but he had never such a forest in Hosheda desert before. Sol, I don't think I like this. Is he luring us out here on purpose? Despite how dry the air was, sweat drips from Sol's face. Is it a trap? Or did he really not notice us? And what could have been doing all the way out here? The man and Son slipped through a throng of trees, vanishing from their line of sight in a fraction of a second. It's getting hard to follow him here. We need to get closer. Wait, Sol! But before Alto could protest, Sol has dashed towards the man was headed, leaving her no choice but to follow him. I had a feeling about this. Snap. Sol's feet tripped on invisible wire. Shit. The wire wrapped around Sol's feet, giving him no chance to react as a large log swung towards him. It slammed into him, throwing him across the forest. Oh no! Sol! Alto rushed to eye him, but a glass-shattering meteor interrupted her, casting an outbreak of white mist that obscured her sight. What is this fuck? I can't see. I don't think that guy is going to kill us because he helped Alto before, right? Ah! Alto avoided the flying blade before he could graze her. I knew it. The terror lured us into a trap. If only I could see clearly. Alto, behind you! Alto ducked immediately and rolled to her side, narrowly avoiding the same log that had slammed against Sol. Miss, knives, unlock attacks. They are not something a magic user will resort to in an ambush. Does that mean that he is... Hearing the sound of grass rustling behind her, she spun around and did a roundhouse kick, earning a familiar grunt from her victim. Ow, that's me, you idiot! Oops, my bad. Hey, move! Sol yanked Alto just in time to avoid the trajectory of yet another knife. It clinked against the bark of a distant tree and flopped to the floor. Curses! We can't pinpoint him with this mist. Slashing random places did not produce any results. It seemed Sol was just punching the mist, a futile effort on his part. Alto meanwhile was inspecting the knife that had fallen on the ground. Even without Sol pulling her out of the way, she realized the knife would not have grazed her. Alto, get it together. He's going to get away if we don't do anything. Wait, Sol. Judging from our encounter with him, he doesn't seem to be a magic user. Plus, I think he's not experienced in combat. He's not a magic user? How's that possible? Think about it. Well, here's up to following logs and throwing knives if he could use magic. Sol finally calmed down, trying to follow Alto's train of thought. You might be right. From his actions, he might be a magic user, and it also seems like he's avoiding close-range combat. Maybe we should wait for the mist to settle. No, he'll get away by then. The moment we hear his footsteps, we tackle him together, and I'll use the vial on him. As if on cue, the crew heard the fine rustle of footsteps beside them. Now! The two leap on their target like a predator pouncing on its prey. The man yelps, surprised by the sudden attack. Charging at the man with all her strength, Alto managed to pin him to the ground. Although admittedly it did not take much effort to do so given how this... Sol, now! Just as Sol rendered the vial, the target let out a distressed cry, shaking his arms frantically. Wait! Please hear me out. You don't know what you're doing or who you're messing with. Sol glared at him, deviousness written all over his face, yet knowing that Alto had him immobile. He let his hand overhand the vial, pausing the operation. Is there a trail here? I know what you're here for. You want my soul. And you're working for the project. The man's voice was racked from all the exhaustion, and Alto could not help but feel bad for him arousing the deed of this non-combatant. But have you ever considered why such a respected organization wants someone's soul? Doesn't that strike you as strange? The man paused in the middle of his sentence, staring at Sol with widened eyes. his fear replaced with something more akin to shock. Wait, you are... Which immediately turned into worry. You have to run. Don't let the project see you. They are going to use you at all cost. Oh? What are you talking? Are you talking about me? The traces are faint, but I can make out the color. It's Atsura's blood. Could it be that you're unaware of your capabilities? Saul dived in his grip of the vial, almost losing his patience. For someone whose soul is about to be taken, you better worry about yourself first. Please, just give me the chance to explain. You don't know what the project is making you do. Alto. Yes? You've always been the most reasonable one of the two of us. Uh-huh. So it's your call. What do you think we should do? Okay, another choice. Man, this game has a lot of choices. I love it. You know me, I love my visual novels with a lot of choices. Capture him immediately, listen to what he has to say. I'm gonna listen to what he has to say. Wait, Sol, we should listen to what he has to say. Alright then, if you insist, go on, make it quick. Are you aware that you are a child of the Blood Moon? This question was directed to Sol, who had been staring at the target with narrowed eyes for a while now. The Blood Moon, I read about that before, but what does the child of the Blood Moon mean? And why is he asking that instead of convincing us not to capture him? I'm not aware, and I don't care. It's a strange bounty, but my job is to capture your soul and send you back to the project. This is the only way we can meet her again. Sol spoke the last sentence softly, but Alto caught what he said. So, I know it's difficult for him to make his decision and entertain the strange request, but this is the sacrifice we're willing to make to find Alice. Please reconsider heading to Project's headquarters. When they see a child of Blood Moon, God knows what it'll do to you. Right now that you're doing with talking, we'll have to take your soul anyway. Away, I mean. Alto, tie him to the tree and move away from him. Wait. Alto did exactly that and moved away. But before the man could say anything, Sol had opened the vial and directed it towards him. The vial burned a bright red and they watched bewildered as the man's magenta eyes closed and his body turned limp. After collecting his soul, the vial let a loud pop and immediately sealed itself, leaving a floating bright orb inside it. After a while, it dimmed and vanished from sight. So his soul is in there? Alto mumbled that hesitantly no one would ever believe that somebody's soul was inside a transparent vial after all. So looked equally skeptical, but looking at the unconscious body, the vial seemed to have worked its charm. Let's just assume that's true. So what do we do about the body? It really sounds like we murdered somebody. You're usually the one with ideas. What do you think we should do? All of this sound terrible. Take it with us? Maybe we could take him with us as a souvenir. Does carrying an unconscious body with us sounds like fun to you? Although sometimes I wish I knew what's the head of yours. Should we still carry him with us, just for safekeeping? The bounty clearly states that they just want his soul. I think we'd move faster if we left the body here anyway. The request sounds odd now that I think about it. Why will the project want someone's soul that badly? And what are they going to do with it? I think we can just leave his body here. How heartless can you be, Sol? Sol simply grunted the remark. He produced a cloth from his headpack and laid on the top of the unconscious body. He was warning you about something. Do you know what he's talking about? Not a clue. Whatever he said did make me anxious, but if Sol isn't worried about it, then maybe I shouldn't either. Seeing the target's belongings still scattered about, Alto carried them up. The least she could do, she supposed, was to keep the man's belongings close to his body. The man had quite a lot of his possession: a folded tent, a collection of knives, dried jerkies, a canteen of water, basic necessities to keep a man alive. Alto found herbs stored in a glass jar and vials containing unknown potions, as well perhaps the man was a herbalist or potioner of sorts. Oh, what's this? Well, what's this? Something amidst the mediocre items caught Alto's eyes. A walnut book with golden embroidery lace on its leather-covered pocket out from the man's bag. Despite its age, it seemed like it was taken care and handled with care. Alto inspected the book carefully. It was just a normal book, inside and out. Yet there was something about it that told her it was more than it looked. Alto, let's get moving. Coming. She placed the collection items next to the man's body and hurried off to catch up with Sol. But just as she turned to leave, something took her hand. She whipped her head just in time to see a pale hand grip her wrist as cold as ice, and as for whose hand it was, Alto could never not begin to imagine. Another hand covered her mouth as a familiar voice hissed in her ears. Stay still. The sharp edge of a knife pressed on her neck. Alto! Don't move unless you want Gear to get hurt. Alto was unable to look back at her attacker, but his familiar voice and blonde strands of hair undoubtedly belonged to the target. How has this happened? How did this spring back to life? Was the equipment a scam after all? You, let go of her. Give me the vial, and I'll arrest the girl. Sol, I'm sorry. What? Thanks for playing a Frost and Flowers demo. We hope you enjoyed the game so far. For updates on the full release, you can check out Twitter. And this is like yeah, this is a link. Okay. See you in the full release. Okay. Okay, so that was of Frost and Flowers, the demo version, of course. Seems to be a demo version. I'm collecting my thoughts. Give me a second. Nice visual novel, of course. I'm not sure about all the world building they throw around, like the names of places, names of groups and stuff. I know this is a demo version, so they try to like get everything the most they can to let the player know what's happening. But aside from the library, I really didn't understand a bunch of stuff. But again, I guess that makes sense because it's a demo version. The story seems to be really nice. It's kinda like a little bit generic, like not generic in a bad way, right? But in a way that you can more or less predict the main plot of the story, right? And that's not a bad thing necessarily. I do like the characters. Like everyone seems to have their own motivations. And there's a bunch of things that are unexplained, and they are a little bit too unexplained for my personal taste, but it's definitely interesting, right? If this was like a TV series or an anime or something like that, and I watched this as the first episode, I would really want to watch the second episode and the third one, because there's a bunch of questions with no answers, right? And I guess in that sense, it's really good, right? Because it's like a giant cliffhanger with a lot of little cliffhangers in the middle. But if you make like too much cliffhangers, then it doesn't make sense, right? Because you feel like you're just in a world where you don't understand anything. But so far so good, right? I like the music. I like the characters. I think that the strong point of this game is definitely the characters. The world building could use like a little bit better. I don't know, in my personal taste. But the characters are definitely the best point of this game, and they're amazing. I love them. All of them are really interesting. And actually, the friendship between Alto and the other guy, it feels real, right? It feels like a real friendship between two persons that had to part ways, but they share the same goal of finding the girl. It's really nice, right? I like it, and I want to know what happens with the cult. I'm gonna call it the cult because it seems like they are a cult, not an organization or something like that. And I personally believe that not everyone should be a magic user. That's my personal opinion. So yeah, I think that's all for this game. Really nice demo. Sorry about my dog choking in the middle of the game. I'm gonna cut that part. So probably you don't know what I'm talking about because I already cut that part. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to play this game, before I go, if you want to play this game, the link will be down in the description with all the games I have played so far in the channel. Try to play this game because there's a bunch of choices in the game, and you can take different choices of the ones that I made. So yeah, go play this game. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, developer, for making the game, and I will see you guys in the next indie game or stream. Good.